This is, of course, my faction leader. If we take a look at his army, I have had an opportunity to unlock some units. We've got some Great Axemen, some Danelaw Axemen, some Coral Archers. So yeah, if that's how you say it, I have no idea. Scout Horsemen, and some Northumbrian Thanes. So, lots of good stuff. This army is kind of similar. I've got a lot of Great Axemen and Spears, some Archers, and Scout Horsemen. So, these Great Axemen are one of my favorite units. They absolutely pummel enemies on the charge. And I've done a lot of upgrades on them as we've moved along. So, let's teach these English rebels a lesson. Similar to Attila, there's weather conditions. We can wait out the rain. Let's start our deployment now in the dry weather. I want my axemen to be in the center of the formation so that they can deliver the most punishing charge possible to my enemies. I'm going to put my archers in the second rank to support. And cavalry on the flanks. This may be the time of the Vikings, but I'm still acting very similar to Alexander the Great. I've grouped my units where I can move them in formation. Let's start the battle. Of course, I'm going to turn off that advisor. The enemy's taken up a defensive position towards the back, so I'll come back in when we're ready to attack them. Alright, the battle's getting underway. I've approached the enemy troops, and let's go check out what they have. Looks like they have a bunch of spearmen, some Britannia swordsmen, some archers, and some scout horsemen of their own. Let's prepare to engage. I want my shock infantry. They're going to do the lion's share of the work here. I'm going to push my spearmen up on the flanks. Take my general up to support. Use my archers to target down their archers. And begin to move my scout horsemen on the flanks. Let's get a close-up of some of the charging action here with the infantry. See these guys having to stumble over a fence. Let's give those guys a charge. We got double-teamed here. That's alright. Let's help out here. Gotten charged by some horsemen in this direction.
See, they flee before our might.
So you can see the fight's well underway here. We've driven back some of their axemen with our own long axemen. Great axes, I should say. See our great axes here, cutting down cavalry, cutting down infantry, cutting down the enemy in general. Looks like I got some cavalry in behind their skirmish units. Let's run them down with our scout horsemen here. So overall, the battle's going very well for us. Of course, we had our enemies pretty heavily outmatched here. We even had reinforcements that came in from the settlement that we just did not need, so I didn't make use of them. So the battlefield controls very similar to Attila, because again, this is what the game's built off of. Units look good, and the battles. Let's see, what did I get to charge? I got some spearmen a hold of me here. Let's just charge through them. The enemy general just died, and that should be the end of our enemies. Continue back to the campaign map. Afterwards, we have the option to ransom the captives, gain extra money. We can take on warriors, which will hurt our unit experience, but help us replenish faster. Or we can kill the captives. Since these were rebels, rebelling against my kingdom, I think we're going to kill the captives. There's our enemy, dead in battle. Again, you can see the artwork carries over into these little scenes, too. It's actually very nice. It looks good. It's a very unique feel to it.
Our foes will suffer. For the old father.
Let's destroy Karl here. We don't want any more rebels. We're not going to manually do this. We're going to auto-resolve. Use a balanced stance. And we've destroyed our enemies. I think we'll kill the captives once again. Maybe let that be a lesson to the other rebels. Alright, so one set of rebels down. We have another large group here, but we can't get to them until the next turn. This army can go ahead and move on into our settlement here. Let's see where our damaged buildings are. Here, we can't do anything about it. Here, we can finally repair these buildings. It'll help our economy overall to get this stuff back up and get the full function of all these buildings. We have quite a bit of treasury, but let's hold on to that. And we'll go do some building on the next turn. We have one province at risk of rebellion. We have an army nearby, though, so it shouldn't be too bad. And I do believe we're ready to end a turn. We'll leave autumn of 890 AD, move to winter. Let you all see what the winter map looks like.
Accept our offer of peace, or endure more suffering.
These guys want to make peace with me. My faction really doesn't want to be at war anymore right now, and I don't necessarily have to have these minor settlements at the moment. Let's go ahead and accept the peace treaty.
Well, we go.
So it could help with our war fervor being in the negative. Let's see here that the populace in general, we're getting a negative public order and losing fame and unit replenishment. Because the populace is apparently tired of me leading them constantly into glorious, glorious victory. Alright, so we got our faction leader here, and yet another rebel army. These guys don't pose any real threat to us. Their units are pretty crappy. I don't have all that many units, but a lot of my units here are very good, and it's reflected by the auto-resolve here. Not to mention, I believe... No, we don't have the reinforcements here, but let's auto-resolve. Take a balanced stance. Knock these guys out of the fight. And I'm gonna again kill these rebels. Drive them from my lands in fear. You can see that this is a bit different here too. It shows the level of the commander here next to the star. So a level 7 is my commander. And then 14 units in his army. You can go up to 20. So that's how you see the size of armies rather than having the flags with the stacks and all the other stuff. A little bit different way of doing it, but it works. After giving that guy an axe to the throat, I suppose these rebels are done for now. No survivors. Let's enter the settlement. Let's repair these buildings. We're losing a great deal of money with these buildings being damaged because they drive so much in our market. So, we do have an enemy army still in our midst here. We should probably move to intercept. Then we have a province that used to be ours, which is now controlled by rebels, that we probably ought to take back. Let's take a look at our diplomacy. Right now we're only at war with one more faction, which is HeirofCarthage, or however you say that. They're here to our south. And part of the reason we're at war with them is because they went to war with, I guess what was one of my vassal kingdoms that was here. And I ended up kind of confederating with them, and they're no longer here, so maybe we should ask for peace. There's really not a reason for us to be at war with them anymore, and my populace doesn't want to be at war. So let's see if it works. You can click on them. It takes you straight to them here. They're at strength rank 21. We're at number 1, so I would think that our diplomacy...
Time is precious. Do not waste it.
Current proposal is excessive. So basically stating that I'm taking it too easy on them. But if I want to vassalize them, they think that it's insulting. Alright, well, maybe we can just ask for money. They have a weak economy. Let's see how much they can give me. So I'm demanding 1,100 gold. Give me a peace treaty.
You speak sense.
And we have peace. My war fervor is now back down to 0 because the people are content. So no plus or minuses right now. So the people finally get a break from war after many, many years. I say that. These rebels over here are still going to get their due. So our lands are safe. Perhaps now we should focus on, what, some infrastructure? Yes, I believe so. Let's go to some of our provinces that have the worst public order and take a look at what we might be able to do.